Gentlemen, the man that never misses, Light Out Sports, and the GOAT ZZ Honcho is back for another episode. But before we even start, I gotta talk about the damn Lakers. What the heck is going on? Like what is going on at this point? First of all, I just want to talk about a couple things. I feel like I am the most hated TikToker. I feel like I'm in boom the sport god standard at this point. I am the most hated at this point. I woke up with 75 messages on Instagram, 1,000 ads notifications of Laker, getting trolled. I want to jump off a building. And also Poppy Solo. Anyone, if no, that man is coming for my neck. The biggest Brooklyn fan that we will have soon is coming for my neck. And so I don't know what to say. Obviously, Z is a Knicks fan, so he's chilling.
We're vibing.
They're vibing. But obviously, I want all the smoke. So obviously, I'm jumping off a building. And I'm gonna introduce this week's guest. Apparently, he has a 44-inch vertical. The man hasn't missed on TikTok. They say he runs a 4.4. Also, he is 6'7". This is information that I've seen online. I swear these are all real. We got the man of the hour, Suppercurtt. Suppercurtt, how you doing, bro?
What up, bro?
We got the biggest Philly fan, I think, in TikTok. I don't know if there's a lot of Philly fans in TikTok right now. We're going to talk about Ben Simmons, but before we do, Suppercurrt, I want to ask you, what is going on with the Lakers? What is your opinion on the Lakers right now?
I just think that with everything, when it comes to the players coming back and LeBron coming back and AD coming back and them finding their groove with Andre Drummond now, I think that a lot of people that watch LeBron's teams and just watch the Lakers, I think that we should just be like, okay, they're going to figure it out. They're going to figure it out. Right now, they just don't have it figured out. Like, think about this. And any time that we've had a situation where LeBron is left or come back, or the team has missed some people and then they come back, people always find a way to complain and say, the team is just, this team isn't going to do this team isn't going to do that.
Yeah.
And they always get it done. So then it's like, why even waste our time trying to debate whether they're done or not right now? They're going to be fine, I think.
Yeah. But what about the quote he said that he said he'll never be 100%? Would he even be considered the best in the league?
Well, I think that a lot of us are kind of taking that statement and running with it, and it probably has to do with the media is their perception of the statement. What I got from the statement, because I saw him say that, and I was like, that's interesting. He probably didn't mean what the media said, so I went and I watched the interview. And if you watch the press conference, he essentially was kind of alluding to, and he said this before, every athlete throughout their entire career, they always have some type of knick-knack injury that's keeping them from being 100%, quote unquote. So he always is dealing with something, even if it's not publicized. So I think that that's where he was going with that, as opposed to him trying to say, you know what, guys, I'm just washed, because that's what he would be saying. He's not going to go out in press conference and be like, yo, guys, I'm washed. I'm just washed. No, he's not washed. I mean, at least not yet. That day will come and whatever, or we don't have enough evidence to say he's washed yet, but I will say that that's probably not what he meant. He probably just meant that, and every athlete can attest to that. You're an athlete, you have little injuries, maybe a little ankle injury. You got to get taped before the game. You got to get your hands taped, stuff like that. Like, that's what that is. And that's what he's talking about. Most people that you see on the court or the field are just not at 100%.
Well, that's true.
Speaking of quotes, I want to talk about the quote that LeBron dropped last night. Whoever came up with this expletive needs to be fired. Talking about the play-in tournament. Now, when I looked at that comment, I was like, I've kind of been the same way. I've been iffy about the play-in tournament, honestly. Why change it now? Whatever. But I see where they're trying to go with it. But people are on LeBron's case because they found the quote from the year prior in 2020 where he said, quote, so if there's 5 or 10 games left, why not let those guys battle it out? Make them play each other all 5 games. So what do y'all think about that?
Look, at this point, look, LeBron, man, LeBron is an old man. Okay, I've been watching him since 2003. Like LeBron is in this stage of his career that he doesn't want to deal with the play-in tournament. It doesn't mean everybody say, oh, he's scared of Golden State, he's scared of Memphis, he's scared of Portland. He's scared of the people in the play-in right now. He's not scared of those people. But obviously, if he plays in the play-in, the team is in higher risk to spend more energy on games that they could have avoided from the beginning of the season. So that's why he probably meant that. He doesn't mean that, oh, I'm afraid of these teams. If you're really going to sit down and tell me that the Golden State Warriors, Memphis, who's the other 2 teams that are? Is the Lakers, them,
the Trailblazers and the Mavs, I think.
I think the Mavs are 5th seed. I don't know. The Warriors are the 9th or 10th. Oh, San Antonio.
Yeah.
The Spurs. You really think you're gonna sit down and tell me that those teams are going to beat the Lakers twice so they could be bounced out? That's not gonna happen. I'm sorry. They're a great team. Like they're great. Like I'm not disrespecting any team right now, but the Lakers and especially LeBron James are in the playoffs. He's not gonna let that happen. He's not. The reason he said that is because he's an old man. He doesn't want to play. He doesn't want to play all these games. No, those are games he could avoid. So that's why he said that. Obviously, it sounds hypocritical because, he said that back in 2018 or 2017 when he said that. But now that he's in that position of being that spot again, it's like, oh, damn, I really have to play these games that I don't have to play. So that's my opinion. It's like the old man standard on that quote. Yeah.
I personally think he's just frustrated at the fact that, he has this knick-knack injury. This like ankle thing he's got going on. I think that he would rather just go and play the games that matter as opposed to having to play games where he knows he's going to beat this team, or he kind of feels like, it's just another game that he's going to have to play, like an extended regular season almost, like for him. So I kind of think that that's where he may be coming from. Like he just is frustrated that he has to do it as opposed to, because I feel like that when he said it before, he was more saying it feeling bad for the teams that are not like getting a chance to play, even though they were so close. So especially because a lot of times what could keep you out of the playoffs is just one game or like a half game. And that's just like, that sucks. So I guess that's where he was coming from. But now that it's him in this situation, he's like,
yikes.
I don't really feel like doing this. Like, I know I'm going to the Western Conference Finals. Why do I have to do this? And that was kind of just a dumb statement. That was a slip up by LeBron. That was
I said the same thing. I was like, because I went straight to the comment section like I always do, and the first comment I saw was because he's in a play-in spot right now, and I was like, yeah. Somebody was like, well, it's funny how y'all act like opinions can't change. And then somebody commented on that person and was like, well, don't you think it's kind of ironic that he was the number 1 seed last year at that time, and he made that comment compared to now he's struggling to get away from the play-in spot. So I was like, yeah, I see what you mean. Honestly, I love LeBron. I love LeBron so much. He's so intelligent. That's why I can sit here and say it was literally a slip up on him because we know how intelligent LeBron is. We know LeBron can literally tell the media what he wants them to hear at any given time. He knows how the media play. That's why you look at LeBron's beefs in the past. I just watched a video on him and Paul Pierce's rivalry. Paul Pierce was going at LeBron's neck from 2007 to like 2012. Bron never said a word. Bron let his game do the talking. That dude from that played on the Mavericks, Deshaun something, I don't know his name. That dude tried to beef with LeBron. Bron did not address it at all because he didn't want to feed into the media. So I know how LeBron's brain works. He lets his game do the talking.
Skip Bayless versus LeBron James.
Exactly. Bron's never commented. He doesn't need to.
I agree. I mean, look.
I think when LeBron retires, that episode is going to come. It's going to happen.
Oh my God. Skip Bayless.
When LeBron's retired, though, he's going to wait till his game is all said and done. And then he's gonna go on undisputed, and it's going to break like records as far as rating.
I'm going to watch that live. I want to see that live. Like LeBron James is Skip. Look, I think Skip Bayless is entertaining. Like I love watching Skip, but his takes, bro. Oh my Like he switches so much on what's his team. In like 2010 to 2014, it was San Antonio. Oh, the Spurs. Oh, the Spurs are gonna beat LeBron James. Da, 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 da. Now Golden State. Now the Clippers. Any team that rivals LeBron, that's the team he's riding. Like it's a LeBron team. Yeah. I can't wait.
The funniest part about Undisputed is literally how Skip hates LeBron, Shannon loves LeBron. So anytime LeBron does something good or bad, it's just a matter of which person's gonna have a field day at Undisputed, either Skip or Shannon. Literally, Shannon. They were talking about now. The one time I saw Shannon actually stick up for one of LeBron's rivals was Steph. When Skip said Steph wasn't top 20, and Skip started picking certain games, like he picked 5, 6, and 7 of 2016, and he said Steph didn't show up here. And Shannon was like, okay, what about this game and this game and this game? And then Skip's, well, when you throw facts back in Skip's face, he really
he gives you this face.
Yeah. And then he gets very emotional. Like, it's hilarious to watch Skip get like emotional when he's trying to really prove a point to you.
Yeah.
My turn when the Cowboys lost, that was the best thing ever. Because Shannon literally all he had to do was troll. He trolled the entire time. He didn't have to say anything, and he still got
keep going, Suppercurrt. You want to say something?
The thing with Undisputed, I like the show. The only problem is that with Skip Bayless can make some really intelligent takes at times.
Of course, yeah.
But sometimes he relies way too much on media narratives to make his point. Like he won't criticize a player for things that actually really have to do with their game. He'll just talk. He won't say, "Oh, Giannis needs to develop a 3-ball." He'll say Giannis isn't clutch. You get what I'm saying? Like he'll blame it on that as opposed to talking about the actual problems with their game. And Maverick Carter, I think, and not just Maverick Carter, but also the owner of the Mavericks, he also has called Bayless out publicly, saying that all you do is focus on things that don't even really matter, like leadership. Leadership does not make you better than someone else. It's just a nice thing that you have to your game.
I'm so happy you brought that up. Because look, Chris Paul, I love Paul. I think the greatest leader right now in the NBA. It doesn't make him the best player in the world. It's fact. It's fact. But we touched about Steph Curry and Shannon Sharpe, right? I want to ask you guys this because I've never asked you guys this, especially Z because he's the co-host. Where would you rank Steph Curry in an all-time list? Is he top 10? Is he not? Where are you putting him?
I got Steph either he's anywhere between 14 and 12 all time. I think I actually did it in my head. I know he's ahead of Kevin Durant. I don't know if he's number 13 and KD's 14 or Steph's 12 and KD's 13. It's something like that. But he's anywhere between those. And the reason I have him there is because of a lot of things. One, for starters, Steph Curry did not need Kevin Durant to win a championship. I think he made that quite clear. There's a multitude of reasons behind that. One, 2015, yes, he beat LeBron by himself. But in 2016, Steph was on a sprained knee in the finals, but he never made an excuse out of it, which is why I admire Steph so much. When he knew that if he didn't play, the Warriors were going to get swept. They didn't know that. Yeah. So he was there for his team, and he was going to try and be a decoy. We've seen it before. Scottie Pippen, Game 6, 1998, bad back. He played as a decoy and played terrible. Michael Jordan, the food poison, well, he still played okay, but whatever. LeBron has done it before. LeBron could be a decoy and have like 20 assists if he wanted to, because he's that good of his IQ is off the charts. So when I look at Steph, I think about how 2016 everybody's like, oh, they went to go get KD because they couldn't beat LeBron. I was like, you act like LeBron swept the Warriors in 2016. They won by one possession. So I guarantee that we would have saw a Cavs and Warriors rivalry last at least 4 years, like on some Boston Celtics Lakers 1980s.
I would have loved that. Yeah, exactly. It basically did happen, but with this Kevin Durant.
Yeah, with KD. Yeah. That's the one thing I hate about the situation is KD ruined a good, like, I think Kyrie probably still would have left maybe in 2018, but 2017 would have at least went probably 2. We could have had 2 back-to-back Game 7s.
Yeah, so Steph, exactly.
And people think about how Steph led his team to 73 wins. As a point guard, Steph Curry was in talk, like literally everybody was like trying to debate who's the best player in basketball. We know it's LeBron off of our brains, but we can't ignore this man he's averaging 30. The PR is there. His team is winning. He's the reason his team has had 73 wins. So it's like, I mean, I can't argue with that. And then I look at how Steph brought his team back from 3-1 with KD, and his back was against the wall, and he relied on what he knew. He knew that he could rely on his game, and he had a guy next to him, his fellow Splash brother, that could come through when he needed him to. So I look at the leadership, and that's another thing we talk about leadership. Leadership goes in many different ways. I think that Steph's leadership is low-key underappreciated because everybody thinks that Draymond's the leader of that squad. In a lot of ways he is, but Steph is the front man. Like, he's the leader of the band. Everybody, so that's
Hello?
You good, bro.
Okay, cool. All right. Just making sure that the stream is going. I don't know what just happened. All right, cool.
It's all
all right, Suppercurtt. What do you have to say about this?
If we're talking about where Steph ranks, I have him anywhere between 12 and 10. Mm-hmm. Now, like, and this has to do with just looking in the top 10. There's certain players where we're talking about greatest of all time. Not everyone's play style is timeless.
Yeah.
And that changes where I rank you, because if I can't drop you in today's game and you still show that you are one of the 10 best players to ever play the game, and it sucks, but it sucks for the older players, because it's like Bill Russell, like, I don't know, Bill. I don't know. Like, I don't know how that really translates. And a lot of people really say that he's not even a top 10 player all the time, and that he's very, very overrated. And I listen to those arguments, and I'm not gonna lie, they make a lot of sense.
Yeah,
they make a lot of sense when you talk about the lane and how he was playing in an era that had so much fast pace, so much fast basketball. He averaged way more possessions per game, and he still only averaged like less than 20 points per game.
Yeah, he averaged like 17 or 8. I think I saw his stats the other day. I think like 15 or 17 points a game.
He averaged more rebounds than he did points.
Mm-hmm. In an era, I think OG the Beast was the. I've seen OG the Beast. What was his name?
OG the Beast.
Yeah, OG the Beast. He made a video just on TikTok. It's clearly why he thinks Bill Russell's overrated, and it makes sense. It's basically what you just said. It worked. Like, it was crazy. Like, you could definitely make Steph. You could have him in that conversation. The only thing that I can't really do, and I don't know why, I don't know if it's just, I don't know. I just can't put him above Kevin Durant.
Wow.
I can't.
Wait, what'd you say?
I can't put Curry above Kevin Durant. I'm sorry. I can't. Look, when you look at Kevin Durant, although Steph Curry did change the game, right? Kevin Durant, ever since he's been playing, ever since anywhere he's been at, right, in a stage of his career, he has always been regarded as the second best player in the NBA. Always. Minus 2016, minus 2016 when Curry was on that tear. But with all that, Kevin Durant was considered one of the greatest, the greatest basketball player in the world. In 2014, Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe were arguing who was better, Kevin Durant or LeBron James. In every other social media, any other media platform, I don't know what it was back in the day. It was Kevin Durant or LeBron James. I think we've only had that conversation twice with Steph Curry. And also, when you look at their games, when you look at their accomplishments, yes, Steph Curry has accomplished more. But what was the main reason they won those NBA Finals? Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant was the best player in the NBA Finals. Although he had all the help in the world, he needed to assemble the Avengers to beat LeBron James. He was the best player in that team. So when I look at it at that perspective, I cannot put Steph Curry above KD. But, I'm not saying that that's never going to happen. Like, I'm never going to put Curry above KD. I'm not saying that. What I'm going to say is that as of right now, as we speak, I can't put him above KD.
Well, here's my thing. Change. I get what you're saying on KD being the best player in the finals. There was no doubt about that. Mm-hmm. But I actually, when me sitting there and watching the finals, so Cleveland had in 2017, Cleveland had 2 years of the Steph Curry experience in the finals. So they automatically knew where this guy was going to go, right?
Mm-hmm.
So people always have said, KD, the reason KD went off so much, and this is kind of stretched, but it was because of the attention that Steph Curry was getting. Because keep in mind, Steph was drawing attention once he crossed half court. Now, in my opinion, 2018 finals, Steph should have won finals MVP. He had one bad game, and that was game 3, and that was KD's best game. Because in game one, game 1 he had about 30, I think. Game 1 was that 51-point performance from LeBron. And the reason they went into overtime was because of Steph's and one layup that he got. It was a tough finish he got. Got that one. And then game 2, Steph breaks the record for most threes in an NBA game, in an NBA Finals game. Game 3, KD goes off, but Steph hits the dagger. Game 4, Steph had 36 points in the sweep. In the game 4 sweep, he had 36 points. And then game KD, I was like, dude.
Yeah. But let me ask you this: who had the most points in the last 3 minutes of those games?
3 minutes of what?
Of the final series.
I'm assuming
Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant was the closer. I mean, although Curry hit the dagger, and I'm not taking that away from him, right? Like Curry's a beast. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. But the guy closing those games was KD. KD was closing it. Like like although it was Curry's team. Yeah, Curry, you go. So I'm sorry. You go.
I think that has a lot to do with roles, though. I think that just because he was already the closer. Yeah, like that was his job. So him doing his job, that's good that he's doing his job. But I think that when we talk about Steph Curry and his performances while KD was on the Warriors, it's a little harder to judge because A, they had a lot of other people who needed attention and needed getting the ball. B, we all know that Steph Curry took a back seat when KD came. To let KD be KD, you know? Like he wasn't like, I'm just gonna, and this is a big point for Steph Curry's growth as a player, because if you remember in 2016, he was the babyface assassin. He was a killer. That killer instinct that MJ had, that was him. That was what Steph Curry had. And that's what made me fall in love with him, with his play. And that's why he's my favorite player, because of seeing him that season just tearing people apart, just going out there, dribbling the ball, slow playing it at the last second, and just pulling up in somebody's face from 30 and nailing it. Those type of things, that killer instinct is what he had. And I think that after KD came, he decided, I'm going to let KD be KD. I'm going to be more of a point guard instead of a scoring point guard. I think that's why we should keep that in mind when we judge them playing together.
Yeah. Z, before you go, I wanna because Curry did step back for Kevin Durant, so Kevin Durant could be Kevin Durant. That's true. Now let me ask you this: in Miami, when LeBron James joined, and no one really knew who was gonna lead that team, Dwayne Wade or LeBron James, the world knew it was LeBron James, but the team didn't know it was LeBron James as of yet. It took a season for Dwayne Wade to come out and say, "Bro, here are the keys. Take over." That's what he said, right? So the question to you is, we regarded LeBron James as the best player in the world when that happened. Now, Steph Curry gave KD the keys. Now, why isn't he the best in the world?
Well, here's the thing. Steph gave KD the keys for, I believe, different reasons than Dwayne Wade did. Because think about it like this. The Warriors that season, actually, every season that Kevin Durant was with them, which was what, 3? 2017, 18, 19.
Yeah.
So they did the statistics. They pulled it up. When Kevin Durant was out in the regular season, right, or playoffs, when he was out and Steph was running the show, they had a better record than if it was switched and Steph was out and KD was running the show.
Okay. Now,
there's a lot of reasons for that you can look at. I mean, Steph, that goes to show who was the leader, right? Who was the guy. But when the Warriors needed Steph Curry the most in those KD years, right? If KD wasn't getting done, like take the 2019 conference, was it the semifinals against the Rockets, right? Game 6.
Yeah.
Take that game, for example. Now, I knew a lot of people when Kevin Durant went down with his injury and they were like, he's not coming back, whatever. People went to the comments and said the Warriors are done. I was like, I want all of y'all to come back to this comment next week and tell me are the Warriors done. You mean to tell me that the babyface assassin, like Kurt just brought it up, and that's what I liked about him too.
Yeah.
Steph always when he feels the need to go back to that place of 26 to remind everybody who he is. He always does. He always does. In Game 6, this man had 0 points in the first half, then followed up with 33 in the second half, and went on one of the biggest clutches, like a spree that I've ever seen. This man was being double teamed from 40 feet and just launching, and like not no bankers, not no balls rimming out like Dame at the logo, straight swishes. So when his team needed him, Steph was always there. And I look at also what those two did against each other, right? 2016, the Western Conference Finals. Durant on the show with Russ. Durant played like crap in the 6th and 7th games. He shot terribly. He still had his 30-some odd points, but he shot terribly. Compared to Steph, in Game 6 of that year, Klay had 41 and 11 threes. Steph had a quiet but efficient 31 points in Game 6. And then Game 7, the Warriors like, okay, Steph, we need you to close us out. Steph closes out the Thunder literally kind of by himself in Game 7 efficiently. So I look at that and I'm like, okay, these two matched up against each other. Steph kicked KD's ass, kind of. I mean, he came back from 3-1 on him. KD joined his squad, and Steph took a step back, not in a D-Wade way, because when D-Wade took a step back, it was like, okay, LeBron, you are the clear-cut best player. His step back dropped, his points dropped dramatically. Steph's points only dropped like—
No, they never dropped off. Yeah, obviously.
A quick point on what you were talking about, that 2016 Western Conference Finals. Did you know that Kevin Durant shot worse than Russell Westbrook from 3 in that series? Like Kevin Durant shot like 29%, and Russ shot 30% from 3. Now we expect 30% from Russ, but like KD and you know, a lot of people, their usual argument against people bringing up that 2016 meltdown, they say, oh well, you know, the way that the Warriors were playing us, playing the Thunder, was essentially trying to force KD to be the one taking all the shots because no one else could make threes efficiently. And they had Andre Roberson on the court, and we're kind of playing like 3-on-1. 4-on-5. And the problem here with that statement is that if that was really true and they were making you guys play so inefficient, then you guys couldn't have just scored like 5 more points at the end of these games to win, because the Warriors were not blowing them out. And in Game 6, the Warriors would have lost if it wasn't for Klay going ballistic in like the 3rd and 4th.
In Game 6, Klay.
Yeah. So that argument doesn't really make much sense when people use it. So I'm back on the train of bringing up that 2016 Western Conference Finals and saying, you know, KD is not. I don't think he's a leader. And that's not a knock to say he's a worse player because of it. It's just something that we anoint too many players as leaders. We say too many people are leaders when they're just not. And some people need other people. You know, they just need other people, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that I just don't think that he's a leader. I gotta wait. Hold up. So I'm gonna turn off the camera. Turn it back on. 1 second. All right, cool.
So I got a question for you. So what do you mean that he is not a leader? Like he cannot lead, or is it that he can't be that guy to win? Like he can't be like the best player on the team?
He can be that guy, but if you're trying to ask what Boom said that one time, he said Kevin Durant is not or not a 1A player or something like that. I'm not saying that, because he is a first option. But I also am saying that if we're going to talk about, is he a leader? Like, is he the guy that's going to lead a team? I don't think that that's him. I think just from an intangible standpoint, he's not a leader. Can he be the best player in a championship team? Yes, he's done that. He's shown that. But as far as him leading, just leading a team, I don't think that he's capable of that. I think if you were to put him on a team that, and this also has to do with his play style. If you were to put KD on a team that doesn't have, give him the 2018 Cavs.
Okay.
He's not taking that team to a championship. He's going to be very underwhelming, but that also has to do with his play style too. Like he's not his play style doesn't, he's not a facilitator at any degree. He's not a very good passer. He's okay, maybe even below average, especially playmaking too. So when you talk about that, that makes me think of leading and how he's done in situations where he's had to be the leader. You know what I'm saying? He left OKC. Go ahead.
Okay. Sorry, Z, go.
My bad. I'm just saying I know exactly what he means because like you put him in the Warrior system, anybody can be a star in the Warrior system because of what they run on offense. But you put KD in there, you got a diamond right there because this dude KD, like everybody was surprised that he played so unselfishly in Golden State. I was like, no, KD wants to win a championship, so he's going to do exactly what needs to be done. If that means he's going to swing that thing to the left or to the right, or wait for Steph to come off of back screen, or wait for Klay to drive, he's going to do it because at that point in time he was focused on a title. Now in OKC, think about how, like I was watching that OKC series. Literally, what they would do is, if anybody was passing it, it was going to be Russ. KD was just waiting at the elbow for his fadeaway jumper. And that was about it. And when KD caught the ball inside, he wasn't going to pass that thing out of there. He wasn't going to pass it to Kyle Singleton or Andre Roberson. He was going to shoot that thing. It doesn't necessarily make him selfish. It's just, and he was knocking him down. It's just, this is how KD plays. And he's comfortable.
See, I got a question. Oh,
he's a pure scorer.
Yeah, and of course, he's one of the greatest scorers of all time.
Yeah.
The thing is, right, who led that team to the NBA Finals in 2012? And OKC. Who led it? Russell Westbrook or KD?
The big three.
The big three. It wasn't just one player.
Because they were all the same age. They were all youngins. Literally, think about it like that. Think about. You could say the same thing about Miami, but not only were they all experienced veterans, you had D Wade and LeBron, two people that had been to the championship. LeBron went to his first title the year after Wade won his first title, so they know how to get there. They know how to work with each other. But it's like that young core is like the equivalent of the 2015 Warriors when they got there. Nobody thought they were going to go to the finals in 2015 because they kept getting bounced out of the second. And they had really good seasons, 13 and 14. They thought that they were going to get bounced out. So I think
this is the thing. I believe. Well, Kevin Durant led that team. I mean, he led them. Although he wasn't like, when I say lead, I don't mean LeBron James-esque, Chris Paul-esque, Steph Curry-esque leading. What I'm gonna say is that, like Steph Curry, like any great scorer in the NBA, the distraction of defense that man has by himself. Now, keep in mind, this man averaged 32 points against Kobe Bryant and the Lakers. He averaged 34 against the San Antonio Spurs in the Western Conference Finals. Russell Westbrook was doing his thing, don't get me wrong, but he wasn't averaging those numbers. When I'm saying who led that team, right? Who was the best player on that team? Who led that team? His name was Kevin Durant. Obviously, I am not saying, and I'm not putting Kevin Durant in when it comes to leading like LeBron James, like Chris Paul, like Steph Curry. I'm not saying that. But what I'm going to say is that he has the capabilities to lead a team. He can. In 2018, perfect example, Suppercurtt brought up, Kevin Durant's not leading that team. But a team with Kyrie Irving alone, like it started out in Brooklyn, that team could go to the finals by himself as him being the number one option, as him being the one leading like that. It's the stuff like that I see that he can lead a team. It's that we haven't seen it enough in his career. So that's why I still have KD above Steph Curry. Not because he's a better leader, but because he still showed that he could lead a team. He didn't win the NBA Finals because they were young. But he's the more efficient player between KD and Curry. Who's more efficient? KD.
Well, I think there's slight misunderstanding by what I mean by leader.
Okay,
there's a difference between leading a team and carrying a team.
Okay.
KD can carry a team. He cannot lead a team.
Okay.
That's the difference, I think, because carrying a team is kind of similar to what Steph is doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Steph is also leading the team, but he's also carrying the team. Now, if you were to put KD in a system without these other factors and just let KD rock out. I mean, without these other players, without a James Harden and Kyrie, because you bring up the Nets. If James Harden is the leader on this team, from what I know, like I think he just is. I think he's like the Nets was that situation. I mean, is this situation, and then the Warriors, I think, was Steph Curry. And even if you want to say the secondary leader on that team, it was Draymond. But can he be the best player on a championship team? Yes. Can he carry a team? Probably. We haven't seen that yet, but probably. Can he lead? I don't know about that one. I don't know. Yeah. That's more of an intangible, and it doesn't really take.
And I respect that. I got
but it's just an intangible.
Perfect. We gotta move on. We're gonna play a game right now. All right. It's called overrated, underrated. Okay. And I know Suppercurtt knows what player is gonna come, but the first player we're gonna talk about, his name is Russell Westbrook. Now, I'm gonna start with Z. Z, is Russell Westbrook overrated or underrated?
Is there another option? Russell, I don't think he's overrated at all. I also don't think he's underrated. I think that
he's properly
overhated. I'll put you like that because I think because with Russ, I love Russell Westbrook. Nobody, I think, in NBA history has given 110% every game like Russell Westbrook. Nobody gives as much effort.
Yep.
So I think that when you look at it from that perspective, you can't call him overrated because with his work ethic and his effort in games, it contributes in a way that you can say, okay, well, he's dropping triple doubles left and right like we've never seen before. And that's not an overstatement at all. So I just think I think that he's overhated. I will definitely say that.
All right, Suppercurtt, overrated, underrated, Russell Westbrook.
Okay, so he definitely is overhated, but I also do think that he's underrated in a way because I feel like if you can think of right now, the top 10 point guard list, this man has went from being second and people were arguing him first to him being not even in top 5 lists anymore. And what is he doing now that's much different than what he was doing in like other previous years? Like right now, Russell Westbrook is shooting, he's averaging 22, 11, and 11 right now. So he's averaging a triple-double. And he's doing it on 44% shooting and 31% from 3, right? If you look at his career averages, he's shooting better this year with 31% from 3. That's still like 5 points below league average. He's not a very good 3-point shooter. He never has been a very good 3-point shooter. He's never even shot 40%. The highest he shot was 34%, and that was the year he won MVP. And this year, for his career, he shoots 43% from the field, and this year he's shooting 44%. So he's kind of being Russell Westbrook right now, like just average Russell Westbrook. This is what he's able to do. The question is, why do we? At what point do we just say, you know what, he's just not on this level anymore as these other guys, and just drop him down the list? And I think it had to do with teams not winning anymore. And people were saying that this is not equivocal to winning, but I do think that also has to do with your teammates around you too. Like, we can't just penalize players for being in terrible situations. It wasn't like his situation, he was making it worse.
Also, I do believe Russell Westbrook right now is leaning more into underrated. And I agree with Z that he's overhated for some reason. And I think I told Z through text message, or I don't know when I told him this. I think Russell Westbrook was born in the wrong era. The game today, right, is relied on the 3-point shot, relied on shooting the basketball. Russell Westbrook just drives in and looks for the open man. That's what he does. If Russell Westbrook was born in 2002, 2003, right, and he played, not born, like he joined throughout like the 2000s with like Kobe, Allen Iverson, all those players. They shot the 3, but it wasn't as important as it was today. Yeah. But like how, is he overrated? No. Is he overhated? Yes. And the main reason is because he has really never won as the number 1 option. And I understand. I understand that, right, in a point. But like, I'm not. It's that I'm gonna go hate Damian Lillard as well. I'm gonna go hate other players that are number one options in their teams that haven't won. I mean, Russell Westbrook is still a all-time great, a Hall of Famer. I don't care what people say. He's in Hall of Famer, like a triple-double in a season. He's gonna do it again this season. I think he did it 2 times in a row when he won the MVP, and then the following year, like Russell Westbrook is not. It's not overrated. He is leaning more underrated, but I understand why the hate is coming from.
You know what else I can argue? I could argue that in 2016, Kevin Durant failed him. Even though Kevin Durant was shooting 30, he was averaging 30, he still was doing it on terrible efficiency. So if we're like, I could argue that Kevin Durant failed him during that series. I can also argue that in terms of Russell Westbrook not being able to win a championship, I think that this era that we're in right now is tough to hate on not hate on players, but to penalize players for not winning titles when you have the greatest dynasty of all time and LeBron James existing at the same time. Yeah. I'm not saying like in LeBron James, saying like the Warriors, they happened, they were a thing, and that's 5 years out of people's prime, 5 prime years. If there were no Warriors, Russell Westbrook would at least have been to a second championship by now. Same thing with James Harden. James Harden would most likely have a ring on his finger right now if it wasn't for the Warriors. So I think that when we talk about James Harden, some people will say, oh, well, he doesn't have a championship. Well, he had to go up against one of the greatest dynasties of all time.
Game 7. We won Game 7 against them. He did sell. He sold during that series, but it was versus them. Yeah. It was versus them. How many people get that far? Yeah. Not a lot. Game 7.
And also, Chris Paul did get hurt.
Yeah.
But he still played terrible. There's kind of no excuse. There's no that from 3. But
20. I think that went 0 out of 20. I don't know how many.
27 missed threes. I'll remember it till I die.
It's crazy. I
was watching that game and I was like, my jaw just kept dropping. I was like, how many wide open misses can you have?
I asked a wide open 3. James Harden. Yeah, that was wide open 3 because he was like, I'm not
he's
hitting.
Scared. Game 7, he knew it was. I would have cried. Anyways, all right. Next player. This is the player that I've been waiting to ask Suppercurtt. All right, is Ben Simmons? Ben Simmons. Look at Suppercurtt. Is Ben Simmons overrated or underrated? Let me start with Suppercurtt. What do you think, my friend? Where does Ben Simmons land on the overrated and underrated?
Okay, so this is a tough subject. I've been going back and forth on what I think of Ben Simmons over the last couple months. I'm gonna have to say he definitely is overhated. And is he overrated? No.
Okay.
Now, is he overrated? No. Is he underrated? I would say approaching. And I'm saying
underrated.
Approaching underrated because the amount of people that are literally just going on the internet and saying, I would take Jeff Teague over Ben Simmons.
That's ridiculous. Yeah.
Right now. And I'm just like, and it's become normal at this point to say, you know what, there's about 30 point guards in the league better than Ben Simmons right now. And it's like, I really am not going to sit here and argue that I would rather have a guy on a team who is a backup point guard on a team that needs a point guard, a backup point guard on a team that needs a point guard. I'm not going to say I would rather have that guy than a guy who's a candidate for Defensive Player of the Year this year. And his defensive ability as far as his on-ball defense and his ability to be able to play off-ball defense, it's becoming, his off-ball defense is also becoming underrated at this point too. So it's like, I would say approaching, I wouldn't say we're underrated yet because I'm not even sure where I would rank him.
Okay.
But I wouldn't put him top, at least probably top 10. I don't know if I'll put him top 10.
In one of your videos, because you brought up a great point. You said that Ben Simmons is considered one of the greatest defenders in today's game. In the game right now is one of the greatest offensive game. Like what was it? Like it's the greatest shooting or something like that. It's offensively, it's one of the greatest we have ever seen all time. And we are regarding Ben Simmons as one of the best defenders. But with that same logic, a lot of NBA players, a lot of elite basketball players in today's game score the ball. They score the basketball. And when I look at Ben Simmons, I haven't seen him improve from the first year he started to where he is now. For me, he has been the same Ben Simmons ever since. You know, we had the Donovan Mitchell, Ben Simmons Rookie of the Year. I feel like Donovan Mitchell is better than Ben Simmons at this point in his career than he is to Ben Simmons. Also, I'm not taking defense away. We all agree Ben Simmons should at least, I think he should be in my opinion, Defensive Player of the Year. That's my opinion. I don't know where you guys stand in that. But when we look at his offensive game, how much he lacks during the playoffs, that's the crucial part. It's during the playoffs. How much are they gonna lack on Ben Simmons when they're facing a team like the Nets, the Milwaukee Bucks, the Boston Celtics, the Miami Heat? How during the offensive side, how much are they gonna give Ben Simmons? Attention. How much attention they're gonna give Ben Simmons during the offensive end? Because all they have to do is basically clog the paint. That's all they really have to do if Ben Simmons drives. He's only averaging 14 points this season. It's like he's great. He's a great defender. But when you look at that, he hasn't got better. We all came to the expectations. When I don't know about you, but a lot of people like myself, we saw Ben Simmons and we like, yo, this man low-key plays like LeBron James. He has all the talent in the world to be the best player in the world. Let's see where he goes. And he hasn't improved. So that's why, in my opinion, I have Ben Simmons leading more into overrated than he is underrated. So I want to, Suppercurtt, if you want to add on to that, or Z, I want to let Z talk first and then Suppercurtt go ahead and rebuttal. Z.
I agree with what you just said. And this is my take on guys in the NBA who come in and we expect them to do something, and then and we always have these expectations. The first guy that comes to mind is Andrew Wiggins. We've been saying ever since he walked into the NBA, this year is going to be his. He's going to change it around. The only problem that he has is his inconsistency. And considering he's been in the league for quite a while, at least ever since I've gone through my entirety of high school, and this mug has still been in the NBA. But the thing that I keep telling myself is, how many times can you give someone a second chance? With Andrew Wiggins, we've given him like 7, but with Ben Simmons, it's the only thing we've given him second chances for is his shot. So for me, I remember talking to somebody about it, and they were like, "Well, he doesn't really need to have a shot." And I was like, "Dude, then what type of player do you want Ben Simmons to be? Because if anybody's over Ben Simmons, it's probably because they can do both offense and defense. That's probably why they're over them. Like, I wouldn't put Rudy Gobert over Ben Simmons because all Rudy knows is defense, right? But Ben Simmons can facilitate. He's really good at what he does. He's really good at. So I understand when people say he doesn't need to score, but at the same time, when it comes to Philly's success, especially in the postseason, who are they going to rely on other than Joel Embiid to put the ball in the basket? Ben Simmons can get to the rim and score. I mean, there's no doubt about that. Put him on a fast break, he can dunk on someone. But it's a matter of, I did a TikTok on it. Somebody said, I don't care who the Nets got, nobody's stopping Embiid. I was like, yeah, you're right. Nobody's stopping Embiid. Just like no one's stopping Kevin Durant, no one's stopping James Harden, and no one's stopping Kyrie Irving. And somebody in the comments said, Ben Simmons is going to stop Kevin Durant. And I said,
that's not happening. I'm sorry.
Then keep in mind, this is before Boom went on his rant with Shroom. So I didn't know that apparently TikTok creators got started early, but that's what happened. I was like, dude. So I'm like, Jesus Christ, Ben Simmons is going to stop Kevin Durant. He said, well, y'all are hating on him now, but just trust. I'm like, dude, I've seen the best try on Kevin Durant. We've seen the Kobe's. We've seen the LeBrons. We've seen the Kawhis. We've seen the Giannis's. Ben Simmons ain't stopping Kevin Durant.
Fun fact. Kawhi, I'm gonna let you talk, Suppercurtt. Kawhi Leonard, regardless, is one of the best defenders of all time, right? Every time he guards Kevin Durant has scored his lowest. You know how many points is that?
Like
35. That's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta say. Suppercurtt, go ahead.
Okay, so I'm gonna try to address everything you guys said. On the thing you just said about Ben Simmons guarding Kevin Durant, no one that's ever walked this planet can guard him. So I think that giving Ben Simmons that task is just like
impossible.
It's just not gonna happen. He's not gonna lock him up like he did Dame or like he did Luka. He's not gonna do that, but he is going to be able. I think he'll be able to frustrate him. They're going to run plays to get Ben off of him because you would just rather not have him on him. Now, when in terms of this is something that I do notice though. How many of those players that you named were 6'10" and above that were guarding Kevin Durant? Now, I think that that's going to be important thing to keep in mind when we do watch this series. The fact that I think that Giannis is not a better defender than Ben Simmons, but I saw him at points in the game that we watched in the fourth quarter the other night. He was able to get that contest up into Kevin Durant's hand, which is something that you don't see because most of the people that guard him are either not tall enough or they can't get high enough. And I think that Ben Simmons is good. It's going to be really interesting to watch. That's all I'm going to say. Because he probably can't. But it's just I just want to watch it because I would like to see that matchup. But as far as Ben Simmons not needing a shot, he does need a shot. Every player that plays in the NBA needs a shot. But I think that in terms of what his role is on the team, Tobias Harris is supposed to be the second option. And if not Tobias Harris, Seth Curry. Seth Curry is getting plays ran for him like he's just your regular, they run a lot of screens and things for Seth Curry to get him open shots and to make him that third option. Ben Simmons doesn't have to worry about that, at least the way the team is presently constructed. Now, if you want to say if you put him on another team, he's not going to be able to do this. Obviously, he's not going to be that good. I understand that. It's kind of like similar to Draymond Green's situation. I think Draymond Green would score more points somewhere else.
Yeah.
I think he would because he would realize that my role can't just be I'm trying to be the facilitator guy who doesn't get the credit on the stat sheet. He's going to have to find another role for himself. But as far as Ben Simmons getting second chances and stuff like that, I think that he gets way more hate now. People are recognizing this. People are recognizing the amount of hate that he does get. He is one of the most hated on players, like just today, like not as far as like of all time or like in past years, but just today. If we were to make a video about Ben Simmons and just not say anything, people would be in the comments saying he's horrible. He's trash.
He can't shoot.
That's just not true though. You get what I'm saying? That is just not true. Now, when people do it to LeBron, they know he's good. They're just trolling, even though people genuinely hate him. But with Ben Simmons, people genuinely think he's trash when he's not. So I think that by that logic, I can't call him overrated when especially the people who were rating him was the media. The media is the one that came up and said that he could have been the next LeBron. Now, just because like he didn't place that expectation on himself, he was seeking out Magic Johnson to learn from him. That's all. This has always been the path that Ben Simmons thought he was going to be on. Yeah, he wanted to remember the whole tampering thing with Magic Johnson. So I think that it's really frustrating that he doesn't have a shot. And at points, I was like, yo, I would rather have another point guard. But at this point, I'm like, I did some digging and I really realized the valuability of his defense to not only our team. Because I just saw a video yesterday that Stitch, some guy tried to say that the Sixers don't need Ben Simmons to be a good defender because they already have good defenders. You mean Matisse Thybulle, who doesn't start, and Embiid? Because let's start our non-starter just for his defense. Yeah, he has more steals than points. We're gonna start that guy. Yeah. No. You know what I'm saying?
I gotta ask you this though. So during the trade deadline, one of the offers was James Harden, Ben Simmons, and I think it was Tobias Harris or someone like that in your squad.
Tyrese Maxey.
Okay. Looking at that trade right now, would have you taken that if you were Philly?
If I was Philly,
If you were
but
Philly, I'm like, I'm getting James Harden, but I
yeah.
have to give away Ben Simmons. What are you doing?
Now, my 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 opinion on this one changes a lot because there was a point at first I was like, no, and then there was another point where I was like, yeah, we should have got him. Like, we'd be the number one seed. We'd be like the best team in the East far and away, even though some people think we're the best team, some people think we're not. But then I realized no. And the reason why is because we would have lost one of our biggest assets, which is our bench. Just get him and trade away the bench. It's like, what are we supposed? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are we supposed to do now? We don't have Joe Harris. We don't have Kyrie and KD, where we can possibly get away without not having a bench. If we lose Tobias and then we lose like what, Seth Curry and Tyrese Maxey, we're gonna be in trouble. We're gonna be in trouble. We need those other people especially because Ben Simmons is not a scorer. I mean, but he would have been gone. So, but we still would have lost way too many people. I think we're better off now. But if maybe we could have signed him in free agency and let go of Ben, then yeah, we would have did that. But if it's just a trade, we need the bench players because that is what's going to give us a chance versus the Nets.
Got you. I feel.
I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on. I'm just my computer's tripping. But I did hear what you just said. Okay. But what I am gonna say though, right, about Ben Simmons, right, and the James Harden trade, I would have done it, although I would have given a whole part of my team, just because you can still find guys that are free. Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. That you can still find guys that are the free agents, or you could have traded for a couple players here and there that could fill up that role playing position. Y'all won't have the best bench, y'all won't have a better bench that you once had if you get James Harden. But what I am gonna say is with James Harden alone, he's a facilitator, he's a scorer, he's an underrated. All right, I'm not saying he's a great perimeter defense. He's underrated. I think he's underrated in the perimeter defense, right? I would have, as Philly, traded Ben Simmons for James Harden. And one more thing, and then we'll move on to our third player on who's overrated and underrated. The main problem, all right, and I know people hate when Ben Simmons fans, Ben Simmons supporters hate when I bring this up. The fact that Ben Simmons only averages in his career 0.1 shot attempts per game is concerning. It's concerning. Top 50, top 20.
3-pointers?
No. Oh yeah, three-pointers. And then in attempts, in the field goal, he's only shooting eight attempts. All right, 3 points or 0.1, and then only 8 attempts. That is concerning in my part if I'm a Philly fan, because I want Ben Simmons to be the best he can be. But if he doesn't want to shoot the basketball for some reason, I mean, this is his second coach. I think Doc Rivers benefited Joel Embiid more than he has benefited Ben Simmons this season. But I think it's a little concerning that he's only shooting that little in games. That's all I got to say about Ben Simmons. So the last player I want to talk about, overrated or underrated. Let's talk about Bradley Beal. All right, let's start with Z. Bradley Beal, overrated, underrated. Where you going with this one?
He is perfectly rated to me, honestly.
Perfectly rated.
I don't think anybody can say he's overrated. I mean, we've seen what this man has gone through in the past 2 seasons. Last season he didn't even have a team. He had leftovers of whatever, but he didn't have a team, and he was still out there. I mean, he was doing stuff reminiscent of Kobe 2005, 2006. Yeah. Mike in the late 80s. I mean, it just the scoring was amazing to watch, but it was bittersweet knowing that he couldn't get the win. So now he has a guy like Russ, and with Russ, it took a little bit for Russ to get adjusted to to playing with the Wizards, but in the same way, he still kind of have figured out his little niche, which is okay. I can still get triple doubles here while Bill's doing his thing. The one thing I will say is people. So I was talking to my friends the other night about this. We were watching the Wizards and Spurs game, and I said it was coming down to the wire. I was like, "Don't give the ball to Russ." And one of my friends, Chino, he was like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah, do not give the ball to Russ. Not with the game on the line. Let Bill take the last shot." He was like, "No, Russ is hit." I was like, "Dude, I don't care how many statistics you bring up. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care." I was like, everybody knows. You have Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal and the game on the line. Just give the ball to Bradley Beal. Because I remember in the Warriors game a few weeks ago, the ball was in Russ's hands. Bradley Beal had an off night. Russ bricked the three to the left of the rim, and the ball ended up by the graces of the basketball gods in Bradley Beal's hand, and he got a 4-point play. Yeah, I was like, Russell Westbrook, I love Russ to death. I do. But I wouldn't have Russ taking the game-winning shot unless he was the only one, unless it was like 2017 and Russ didn't have anybody else. Like if it was Harden on the team, give it to Harden. Kevin Durant, give it to Kevin Durant. Beal, give it to Beal. LeBron, give it to LeBron. Let LeBron make the decision. I was like, this, and this is another thing too. I was going to talk about this, but people have a different definition of a lot of NBA terminology. We just finished talking about leaders, right? Yeah, but there was two different things of leaders that we were talking about. Like, and Kurt fixed it. He was like, he can carry, but he's not a leader. And I understand exactly what he means. Yeah. It's the same thing when you talk about clutch. I don't care that LeBron has this stat and this stat. Is LeBron clutch? Yes, he's clutch. And people getting fights on TikTok over the definition of clutch. I'm like, dude, you do realize that if you had between Kobe, MJ, and LeBron, you have no wrong answer. It's the same thing as me saying Russ and Russ has proven his point, but I would trust a guy like Bradley Beal more than I would trust Russ because with Russ, I'm thinking he's gonna probably chuck it from 40 feet and it's gonna squish.
Unintelligent play. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like it's gonna. So
yeah, I understand. Yeah, I understand. Let me Suppercurtt. What you think?
I was gonna say that's a good point. I think a lot of people think about when they think about clutch, they want to bring up clutch percentages as if we for some reason think people get better in the clutch. But the whole point of clutch is for you to be at least at your best during that moment of time, the last 5 minutes of a game, 5 points or less. Can you be you during that time, or are you going to get worse? It's either you're clutch or you're not. There's no staying normal. Staying normal would be clutch if you're good. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's like that's the problem. I think a lot of people don't realize. I was just thinking about that the other day. Like, it's not like certain people just shoot way better in the clutch. Like, the whole point is for if you normally make threes and you're shooting a three at the end of the game, make that one. If not, then you're not playing up to your standards, which means that you're not clutch. But if you make it, that makes you clutch. But being clutch is literally doing what you normally would do if it was the second quarter. Yeah, you get what I'm saying? So that's just what my opinion on clutch. So I agree with what you're saying. So there is misunderstanding there.
So is he overrated or underrated? He's underrated, I'm assuming.
Is Russell Westbrook is Bradley Beal overrated or underrated? I think Bradley Beal, though, I do think that he is slightly overrated. I feel like there's a point in time where a lot of people were trying to say he's a top 10 player just because he averages.
That's what I was going to bring up. Yeah.
And I feel like that is just not true. I think a lot of people look at Bradley Beal's points and they just become so like, 31 points. But a lot of people score point totals higher than they normally would on a team that is worse than that is a bad team. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're on a bad team, you're just going to score more points than you normally would. I'm not saying that he is a bad scorer. He actually kind of is showing us something that we may have not seen. Because right now he's averaging 31, 4 and 4 on 48% shooting from the field and 34% from three. The 34% is a little below league average, but he's taking like 6 threes a game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's taking a
So
lot.
he's playing really well right now, and being really efficient. So I think that this is what I will say. I think that there was a point where he was very overrated, but I think right now he's starting to trend back into being properly rated.
I
think
agree.
people settle in to properly rating him and understanding where he's at. He's like he's in that, like, I would say 13 or maybe even 13, 14, 15, 16 range. He's in there somewhere. Anywhere higher than that, no. But yeah, I think he was overrated. Is trending back down to being properly rated.
Go see. Sorry.
My bad. I just want to quickly say I think that Beal as a second option is the man right there. That's all he needs. He can't like. I know exactly what Kurt's talking about, and I saw a TikTok on this. It was like Bradley Beal. It might have been from Hoops Psychology or whatever that is. That dude. But he said Bradley Beal is not really as good as everybody's saying that he is because he can't lead a team. It goes back to leadership. We were talking about earlier. He can't lead a team. He is averaging 31, which is phenomenal, but 4 assists. It's like, how good is Joel Embiid? Like we talked about, like how good is Joel versus Joker? Joker gets his teammates involved. Joel's averaging 3 assists. So, and looking back on it, when you were talking about who you thought for MVP, I was like, after the show, I was like, you know what? Him and Anthony might be onto something. Like Joker's involving his teammates. He's doing what he needs to do as a big, rebounding, and he's scoring at an efficient level. He might just be the MVP. And I wouldn't say that because if Bradley Beal was in Joel's shoes, right? If he was in Philly and his team was 42 and whatever, I'd be like, yeah, he's not the MVP because he's not really like, if you're a shooting guard, you should at least average like 5.5 assists. Anything low, anything low, I'm like, you're not really passing. If anything, you're passing the ball in like fast breaks or something.
Especially in this game, like you better have more than 4 assists, in my opinion, as a shooting guard. And and I agree with everything Suppercurtt and you just said, right? I mean, there was a point that I saw people were this is crazy. People were arguing who was better, James Harden or Bradley Beal. Like I was like, oh my God, dude, like stop it. James, like that's when I started like, okay, Bradley Beal's overrated if we're comparing him to James Harden. All right, that's the thing. But I'm not gonna add on to that because Suppercurtt just said everything. I agree with everything Suppercurtt said. All right, so the last segment of the show, just to wrap things up. This is not basketball related, but let's talk about Logan Paul and Floyd Mayweather. Why? First of all, why is this happening? Is it good for boxing? Who is gonna win? And if Floyd Mayweather loses, what does that mean for him? Like, it's just, I have so many questions. Like, I gotta say this, right? I believe Floyd Mayweather is the greatest boxer of all time, right? But if he loses to Logan Paul, everything he worked for, everything he done in his career, anything like he was saying, oh, but like, look, I saw an interview. He said, oh, look, think about it like this. I'm a businessman. So if I fight a real boxer, I'll only make $30 million. But if I fight a YouTuber, I'll make $100 million. That's what he said. And the question I have for him is, although you're the greatest, right? I have no doubt in my mind. If you lose to Logan Paul has nothing to lose. If he loses, we're like, oh, we all knew that was going to happen. If Logan Paul wins and he beats Floyd Mayweather, everything he worked for, gone forever. I'm not saying that Logan Paul has a chance, but if it happens, it's game over for Floyd Mayweather. What do you guys think?
I think that Floyd is going to knock the hell out of Logan Paul. But the reason I'm saying this is because Floyd, no matter how you look at it, Floyd beat Conor. And it was at his own game, which was boxing, right? And they're doing what Floyd has known for 50 fights, and 50 wins, and no losses. So I'm like, Floyd knows what to do. Logan, like I agree with what you said. Logan has nothing to lose at all. But from us that have been watching Jake Paul and all of his shenanigans, it would be great to see Logan win. I mean, Logan lose. It would be great to see Logan lose. But this is exactly what I predict is going to happen. Floyd's going to knock out Logan. then Jake's going to enter the ring and set up Jake versus Floyd. That's exactly what I think is going to happen. I don't know if Jake is the bigger brother of Logan or whatever.
No, Jake is younger. Jake is the younger
so
one.
it's going to be little big brother coming to save the day. That's what it's going to be.
Yeah.
And Floyd, and then it's going to set. I mean, but like you said, Floyd's a businessman. Floyd's been talking money since he started boxing. This man knows how to get his own paper. So from a business standpoint, it's smart. Like it's like getting paid $20 million to perform as a celebrity, getting paid probably like $50K to perform at a kid's birthday party. That's what Floyd's doing right now.
Yeah,
that's to go perform at a kid's birthday party with the kid. He's getting paid to dress up as Spider-Man and perform at a kid's birthday party.
That's literally what's going on. Yeah, definitely. Is that Super? Have anything to add to this?
Yeah, I think that there's a couple interesting points in this. The first thing with the whole Mayweather versus Logan Paul thing, the whole thing that's on my mind when we talk about these YouTubers entering boxing is the whole Jake Paul versus Ben Askren fight. A lot of people were saying that was staged and stuff like that. And it's like, I really hate when people say stuff like that, because it's like, if you think that sports is like that, then just don't watch it. But that's just how I feel. But there's a possibility maybe it was. Now, if it was, then that would have to also be in play here. Now think about the amount of money, because what Floyd values more than anything is money. Would he offer up his 50 win, no loss reputation for this? I don't think so. So the good news with that is that thought process is that leads me to believe that this is not staged. Yeah. There's no staged part of this. There was no staged part of that. And that Logan Paul is going to step into this ring with Floyd Mayweather, and Floyd Mayweather is going to destroy him. And Floyd Mayweather cannot let this fight go the distance.
Oh, no, bro.
If Logan Paul finishes a fight against Floyd Mayweather without getting knocked out, Floyd.
Bro, and look,
you know what that would say for his legacy, though? He's taking a chance. He's on thin ice right now. If this man does not put him out of his misery, just put him out. Just take him out, bro.
If Logan Paul, first of all, look, this is a win for Logan Paul if the fight ends in a decision. That's a win. I don't care. Like, Floyd is gonna win. Yeah, Floyd is gonna win by decision, right? But if it goes to decision, that's a win for Logan Paul. I'm giving him the win. I don't care, right? I don't care what the score came out to be. It could be a lopsided Floyd Mayweather dominated every single round. Logan Paul lasted all those rounds against the greatest boxer of all time. Also, if Logan Paul throws the punch of the year, the punch of the century, knocks this man cold, oh my.
If Logan Paul drops Floyd Mayweather, the greatest defensive boxer of all time,
oh my.
I don't know what I would say. He would just have to win the fight there. Like, there's no way a YouTuber can get off his couch, start boxing, and then just go fight Floyd Mayweather and actually get a hit off.
And also, he lost his last fight. It's like he lost his last fight to another YouTuber.
If that happened, if Logan Paul drops Floyd Mayweather, I don't care. Give him a freaking statue. Literally, we would need to have Logan Paul Day on the day that he knocked out Floyd Mayweather.
I'll buy all his merch. Honestly,
I swear to God, I will.
I'll buy his merch. Yeah, like
he drops him one time.
I swear to God, he's the biggest celebrity of the celebrities at this point.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. He needs to. If that anything that Logan Paul would want to do after he knocked out Floyd Mayweather, if he wanted to pursue a music career, his album I would listen to it. It's going platinum the day of. He is going to be on Juice WRLD and X Sales type beats.
Yeah.
Here. Anything that he puts his mind to, we are going to have to trust in Logan. That's going to be the new slogan.
Mm-hmm. Trust in Logan. All right, guys. Well, this was a good show. Thank you, Suppercurtt, for hopping on. Anyone, first of all, if you don't know who Suppercurrt is, I mean, come on now, it's Suppercurrt. Go make sure to follow him on Instagram, on TikTok. Where can we find you, Suppercurrt?
Instagram, Twitter, TikTok,
anywhere,
everything. YouTube too. Wait, I'm pointing the wrong way. I forgot my screen is flipped. Yeah. But this right here, that Suppercurrt is everything. Search it anywhere, and I have a profile there. Just follow me.
There you go. TikTok. Perfect. There you go. All right, thanks, guys. It was Light and Hunch. We'll see you guys next week. We got more guests coming soon.